Alright, so it's a day late, or a day early, technically, because I go Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I know there's a book coming in tomorrow, so time will tell if I'll be able to get that one. It's just one. It's literally one book, and I pretty much got everything that from the library itself that I'd want so far, you know. Unless I get volume 2 of a book, of course, but I think only one of these. Yeah, only one of these has a volume 2. Or the next volume, rather. Yeah, I was like, you know what, I'll just go today. I don't know what anyone's plans are for tomorrow, you know, if they're going to be busy tomorrow or whatnot. But tonight, definitely not. I was glad I was able to get a ride, earlier. Well, actually, just got home, like, it's like 11 o'clock. I went in the morning. I guess I was trying to say that. It was glad I got a, maybe it was early, I don't know. Alright, but this is the library haul, and then reading recommendations. Blue Exorcist, Volume 1. I'm not a huge manga fan, and not that I hate manga, obviously not. It's just I'm not, like, super into manga. I don't think I even own any mangas. Unless some of the books I have technically do count. I don't think any of them do. But yeah, the only ones I've read so far are the ones in the local library itself. It was Hero Academia, Death Note, and Battle Angel Alita. I really liked Battle Angel Alita. Wasn't a huge fan of Death Note, the first time I read it anyways. And My Hero Academia I really enjoyed too. So time will tell if I like this one. And I always heard about this book, but I never, like, I guess I never thought it would be, like, a horror book. And it is, I think. I mean, it's about devils and exorcisms and shit like that, so you would think. This next one is also technically a horror comic. And one I read before, technically I did not finish it, but it's because they collect so much, a thick-ass book. And that's Batman and Aliens. Because this is such a thick-ass book, it collects a lot of material. It was like the last few. They have Wildcats and Aliens in here. That's really cool. It's the one I gotta read before, I just wasted $2 back then. Because this is the one that Wildcats and Aliens is not included in the Stormwatch, volumes 1 or 2. And that's a that's a prelude to The Authority. I still have not finished those 2 books, those 2 Stormwatch volumes, and I've had them since December. Last December. Actually, it was more like January, I think. Yes, it was January, but basically almost a year. If not a year. Part of that is just because I kept forgetting about it. I was on Transmetropolitan for the longest time, and I didn't want to read any other Warren Ellis books until I finished those. So, you know. But yes, this one, it was the last 2. It was the Predator and it was Superman and Batman versus Alien and Predator 1 and 2. The first one was like 50,000 pages long. I should have finished it. I don't know. But that's not why I got it. I got it because I really enjoyed everything else. Everything else was really enjoyable. I don't think I read Wildcats and Aliens, though. This next one is also a reread. I read the entire book, and it was just such an enjoyable book that I want to read it again. And that is Scott Snyder's Witches. And if you ever wanted to know why I'm super paranoid about the condition of my books, just take a look here. Yeah, that's why. And this is, like, you can't even tell, like, why that happened. Like, why it got that way. Although I actually can see it here. But yeah. You ever wanted to know why I'm super paranoid when I have, like, a little crease in the bottom? Yeah, that's why. Especially because you can't tell. You wouldn't be able to tell right away. Imagine that was Amazon or, hell, Newberry. You want it for free. This next one I've heard nothing about the series. But I got a good review. It's based off a novel, so it is technically one of those comics after it's a novel. Voice cracked. But it looked interesting. It's a really weird title, really weird book. The cover looks really different. It looks like one of those books you could get for free on the Kindle because it's written, you know, it's one of those, like, you get it for like 99 cents to be the full series. Like, it reminds me of one of those based off the cover. But I got really good reviews, and that is Jim Butcher's The Dresden Stormfront. Oh, sorry, The Dresden Files Stormfront, Volume 1. The Gathering Storm. That is a mouthful. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of, cover looked kind of weird. And I have a short story, too, in here, in comics form. And it is a, even though it's pretty short, they do go by issue. And what's nice about it, they actually tell you when one issue starts, and the next issue, when one issue ends, the next issue starts. That is such a pet peeve of mine that I could explain, but I can't fully explain. It's one of those things where you probably wouldn't understand it fully, and I can't really understand it. I can't really explain it fully. Basically, it's like I like to read one book every hour. It's why I'm kind of trying to rush, but already failing at that. And I like knowing when the first issue ends, you know, then the next issue starts. Of course, I do have to look at, and I like it. My voice super stuttered, cracked. No, stuttered. Why did they do that? Like I wonder if it's a new person that did that. But what was I saying? I already forget. That's how forgetful I am. Okay, so let me get my thoughts back in order. So I was saying, oh, and Comixology in Kindle is good about having the first page of the next issue, but sometimes they're not even available there, because I don't think you'd find Dresden there, you know? And if you did, it'd just be the book itself. It's a very weird pet peeve of mine, but it still is a big pet peeve. Okay, so now these next... Wait, no. Let's do this one first. I hope this is the right volume. So remember how I was saying last week how I didn't get that Star Wars book, and I was like, oh, do they even have it? They're saying they have this and that, and what have you. And it is Volume 7 of Gillen's run. It was... Before it was Jason Aaron, but now it's Kieran Gillen's run on Star Wars. And I'm definitely going to get Volume 8. In fact, I should put that in pretty soon here. So that's all the ones from the library itself. These next 3 are intro-loan books. And let's do the 2 that had no excuses in not coming in earlier. Because I ordered them on Thanksgiving. And they weren't open on Friday or Thursday. I'll give them that. Although that actually does make sense. No, because even then, like let's say they put it in on Monday. Actually, it was in transit pretty quickly. It should have come in last Thursday. Doing the math, it should have come in last Thursday, and it didn't. It was really weird. But to be fair, I did put it in on Thanksgiving, and that was 2 days later. It was when they were open. It was Saturday, and that's 12. That's like 9 to 1 o'clock. It's not a whole lot of time. And hell, the intro loan lady might not have even been in. But yeah, you know. I mean, I'm not too annoyed or anything like that. I don't mind waiting. It's just kind of like, what the hell? But whatever. The first one up is the Fearless Defenders. It feels like a very thin book, but it collects 6 issues. But it's Cullen Bunn's run. And they only had Volume 1, which... really kind of made me angry. I was like, what the hell? Oh, come on. They had a fucking Fear Itself one. Oh, it's like after that. Oh, whoopsies. It doesn't really matter. But time will tell if I like this. Time will tell. And then, because I was in a Cullen Bunn kick after getting Harrow County, I also got the 6th Gun, Volume C, apparently. Book 1, Cold Dead Fingers. How many issues does this collect? I almost never go over how many issues it collects. For 6 issues, wow. So, this is the perfect way of explicating how, was it Amazon? How Marvel does their 6 issues. And yes, this could be longer than this guy, but look how thin this guy is compared to this guy. It almost feels like this guy collects like almost 10 issues, like 8 issues. And this guy collects like 4. That's just amazing. To me. I mean, the paper quality is pretty good for a Marvel book. This one's even better. It's much thicker. And this one collects 13 to 20. Okay, it's a lot, I think. 13, 14, 15, it's 7. 16, 17, 18, 19, 8. And $24.99. To be fair, I don't know how. No, because would it be? It makes no sense. 8 issues. 7 issues, it'd probably be $19.99. 1 more issue, jack off that price. To be fair, it is a thicker book, but it's still $24.99. Now you know why I'm so glad when I get these kinds of books, the entire series even, on interloans, or I get it on discount. I mean, I don't know. I feel like $24.99 should be regulated to those books that are like Civil War, even though it was 1 through 7, it was like an event book. I mean, that doesn't make sense. I don't know. But let's go to the reading recommendations, starting with Hellboy Volume 6, Strange Places. It was good. There's not much I can say anymore about Hellboy. It's a nice surprise. The first 2 volumes are pretty slow, and that's just the common. Everyone says that, like the not common misconception, but common. Another word, the phrase when I end the video. But that's just the common, criteria, I guess you could say, is that the first 2 volumes are pretty slow, but after that it gets really damn good. This one was a bit slower at times. In fact, the last issue I read right before I went to bed, and I was already fucking tired. I should have just finished it today, but before I went to the library, but I didn't, clearly. And yeah, I was like so tired. It was like so dialogue heavy, because usually they're quick. They take them like 10 minutes to read, because it's some dialogue. A lot of dialogue at the beginning, but near the end, near the middle, and then near the end, it's like almost all splash pages and fast-paced shit, because they get all the introductions out of the way, and this one was almost all introductions. But other than that, it's still good. I still liked it. Archie Volume 4, yes, Volume 4, the last one that they had on digital and at the library itself. I already interloaned Volume 5. I almost put in Volume 6 too, but I didn't want to get Volume 6 before I got Volume 5, so I was like, let's just do that after. Like a Black Widow. I really like this series. It has a lot of it has a very surprising ending that was like, damn, okay. And it's one of those surprising endings that kind of goes the way I think it would, but then there's like another like, oh my god, okay, wow. And I'm eager to see what happens next. It's really good too. Like it's just like it's a slice of life book, but it's really like grounded in reality too. I feel like back in the day, Archie was just kind of like, yeah, it was grounded in reality, but not too much. It wasn't as relatable. But it's super relatable, super everything now. Like it feels like they're actual teenagers basically. And it's written by Mark Waid too. The one complaint I do have about it, and I wonder if it is a common complaint, is that they don't technically talk like teenagers talk. They don't ever swear. Not even like say hell or damn, barely say that. In fact, I was surprised when I saw swears, even like the most PG of language. I was surprised to see that, which should show goes a lot to say a lot. No, goes a lot to say a lot. I don't know, you know what I mean. It says a lot about how it felt. Then Black Widow Volume 2. I liked it a lot better than Volume 1. Volume 1 I liked. It was just very, very, very slow. And Volume 2 was exactly what I wanted out of a Black Widow book. Not too fast-paced, where I felt like took like 5 minutes to read one issue, and it was just all like splash pages. Which is good for Greg Rucka's run, but someone like Nathan Edmondson that wants to get like the characters and like, interactions and developments and all that shit, he kind of need dialogue, so that was why they had a happy medium. He wasn't trying to be like Greg Rucka because he heard that people didn't like how slow the book was. But yeah, I did really enjoy it. I do recommend that run, so far at least. And then the Curse Words Volume 2, I got in Volume 3 like before I even finished Volume 2, but I didn't get Black Widow or the Sixth Gun or the Fearless Defenders. I guess it really depends on what library. It should actually. It does actually. It depends on what library has it. They're not gonna go an hour and a half out of their way to get like one book or something like that, or like they can't. They go to maybe Dover, something near Dover, and then something near the other place. Then they come back. I guess that's how it is. But yeah, it was so weird. But Cursed Words Volume 2, I did enjoy. I feel it's weird that I'm only on Volume 3. It feels like I always feel like I'm an hour. I always feel like I'm one volume later than I actually am. And Cursed Words, I'm still good. I think It hasn't gotten as good as the first issue, and I guess it's like you don't remember your first time. You don't remember. You don't forget your first time as much. You know that old saying. And it was just I was expecting it to be terrible, so it completely blew me away. It still is good. It still is very fast paced, and a lot of issues were I really did like the Christmas special they did with Volume 2. But yeah, still as good as I remember it. Still as good as the Volume 1 was. Anything is better than I remember it. Batman Thrill Killers was pretty enjoyable. I really like the artwork. People didn't seem to like the artwork. I'm like, really? It's actually really good. It is like with Alex Ross. It is done by painting, with paints. But it's not like you can't. It's very different from Alex Ross. Like you can compare the two, and you'd be able to tell a difference. You're like, yes, that's not Alex Ross, but this is. And the story itself was good too. It was just, it's Howard Chaykin. I think Howard Chaykin really loves to fill the panels in the pages with dialogue, because there's a lot of dialogue in this book. Each issue took me about like an hour to read, and it was your normal 24 or 25 page issue. A little bit long, tad bit longer than your average comic book issue, but not by much. In fact, I was surprised how many pages it was. It felt like it was a lot more. It was still good. I still enjoyed it. I do recommend it. It's like $16.99 to buy, and I mean, you never know, it could go out of stock. Chrononauts Volume 2 of 2. It was very, very, not confusing, but very not convoluted. There's a lot going on. It was very rushed again. I feel like Mark Millar, I don't know if Image Comics was just like, this is not selling well, you only get 4 issues. Because it feels like he was trying to stuff a lot into 4 issues that he should have fleshed out into an actual ongoing series. I feel like 20 issues could have done it justice. Maybe a little bit more than that. But it was 8 issues. So it was a lot he has to stuff into those 8 issues. And he does it mostly good. I like how it ends. You know, you're still happy to see how the characters end up. And that shows they actually care about the characters. So I guess it's more about the characters in the story in that case. But I still enjoy it. I still do recommend it. It's rated very low on Goodreads. And I do kind of agree with that, because it is very, like, there's a lot going on. And it's not very well put together, but it's still good. Like, I would say get it at discount, or if you really like a Mark Millar like me, you'll be fine with purchasing it for $24.99 for 2 books. The total. There's only 2 books in the series. I want to see a follow-up series. Star Wars Volume 6, just as good. I was kind of glad that Jason Aaron's run was ending after that point, just because of the fact that, like, he's good, and I still like it. I still like that one and Kieran Gillen. And I'll defend those books till the day I die, because not a lot of people seem to like the Marvel Star Wars books. They're all in the Dark Horse books, which I had the first omnibus at the library today. I'll probably do that after. Probably read that after I finish the Marvel Star Wars run. Although it's like, what, 11 volumes? 60 issues. 60 plus issues, so it all depends on how much they have at the intro loans. But yeah, I still enjoyed it. Then Earth 1, Volume 2, Wonder Woman. So much better than Volume 1. And it was exactly what I thought was going to happen, too. Because Volume 1 was very... It was very, like, not subdued. I think subdued is a word. I don't know. It was very, like, sobering. Like, it felt like Grant Morrison was on... not a relapse, it's the opposite of a relapse, but he was on like a he's trying to sober up from the drugs and everything that he takes. Apparently he takes when he writes these books, because that's the only explanation. No, there's a lot more, but you get what I'm saying. And this one was just like very like down to earth, but not in the best way. It was like he was holding back. And in Volume 2 he still kind of is, but there's a lot more Grant Morrison-y tropes in this book, and good Grant Morrison tropes. And I enjoyed it. I think it's rated very low on Goodreads too. It's at 3.3. The first one I would agree with that, but this one was very enjoyable. I really enjoyed it. I got Volume 3. That's the only one that's coming in on Thursday, or if hell, may not even come in tomorrow. So hopefully I can get that and finish that up and be done with that. Because it's one of those books I read all in one sitting, because it is an original graphic novel. It's another reason why, like, when they have the issues, they tell you when one issue starts and the other issue ends. Because if I don't know, I might as well just read the whole damn thing all in one sitting. But that is it. And 20 minutes, so I gotta end this now, because I gotta get on my next book.